Hello, Aquarius. How are we? This is your monthly horoscope for the month of May 2025. And I think the astrology has had us looking back over a lot of things for you. That's been looking back at where you get your material worth from, your possessions, your material values, even your self-worth. You can looking back a lot throughout that area of your life, and Saturn's been there making it more responsible, more disciplined, and things are changing this month. This is where we finally move forward from that story. And I think we're all at this stage now where we're like, we need that change. We need that move forward. So this is what we're going to look at today as we look through the month of May. I will say, and I've said this for a lot, I think May is the preparatory month. I think May is the month where things are we're starting to get that clarity of where we need to go. And I love that. So let's just get into it. If you want to go deeper on any of this and maybe book a private reading, then you can go into the description. I do one-to-ones, which are 90 minutes with me, where we'll deep dive into this. Like I say, in all these, I can only see the transits and the signs. I can't go give you where your natal planets are without seeing your individual birth chart. So when you have a one-to-one, we can dive deep into your chart. You'll get a video with that, you'll get a written summary with that, as well as that 90 minutes with me. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave the link down in the description, but let's jump into the month of May. So we're starting off on the 2nd of May, where Venus co-joins Neptune in Aries, and Venus is lovely. I like this one. This is Venus, all the things you desire. Taking that bold, decisive action. Determined, you're going for it here. The things that you really, really want. The things you love. The love in your life, the relationships in your life, things you desire. Now, Neptune is like a higher octave of Venus, so she's like the bigger sister, if you like. So with Neptune, it's the mystical, the magical, the fairy tale, if you like. And she's like wanting you to take the bold action towards that. So it's like all these surface level desires that Venus wants you to have. Now it's like, but look how good it could be. You romanticize things, you idealize things, yeah, of the things that you desire, but it's taking the bold action. The thing with Neptune is you might have a little bit of deception, self-deception here, where you're like, I might just have this because that is exactly, I can have that. That stuff, I don't know if I can have that. And you might find yourself not going after the things you want, but the things you think you can have, rather than the things you want. And that's where you have to be like, no, it's bold, it's Aries, we're going for the things we want here. And for you, this is in your 3rd house. Yeah. This is maybe deepening a relationship with a sibling, or maybe doing things for the local community, or maybe you're learning something new here that you've been maybe wanting to learn. You're maybe starting to want to scrape the surface with that around this time. I think when we come out of your Pisces story as well, the way it's been all about your tying your money story, your abundance, your material possessions, where you're tying all that together, and now you're moving into the local community with maybe the stuff that you've learned there, you're going to start sharing it. But there's something around them themes with Venus that you're desiring at this time, where you're wanting to, could be either deepening a relationship in the local community, with the local community, could even be short-term travel here, yeah? Maybe you're in the need of a breakaway, and you're going to start thinking about it and start to get all the desires. Like, maybe that's what you really want at this time, is just a break somewhere not too far away, but you just need a break. And that's now you're going for it. You're taking that break. Now, there's a lot of other things because this goes back to early childhood and stuff like that. But I think when Venus is there, there's something nice. Neptune's romanticizing it, whatever that nice desire is in that area of your life. Then on the 4th of May, Pluto is going to go retrograde. Pluto is in your 1st house. You're going to feel this, yeah? You are one of the signs that will feel this. I've said in a lot of the videos, this is still the early days. I don't think you'll feel it that much. This is going to be close to your ascendant, yeah? Which is that AC angle, which does make you are going to feel this. Do I think it's going to be a drastic tearing everything down moment? No, I think it will be subtle. I think over the next few months, you're going to be You're going to be looking back at where things have maybe been changed over December, or what things, looking at where you've had power or where you've given away power over from December, yeah? Because that's when Pluto moved into Aquarius. And I think that story is going to be starting to form. You're going to be looking back at yourself, like your body, maybe even your outward projection, all that sort of stuff, your personality. You're really starting to think, right, where am I like giving myself away? Where am I not being my authentic self? And that sort of thing. Pluto wants that authentic expression. And it might bring up some wounds from the past that you maybe need to deal with to be able to step into that power and really have that rise from the Phoenix moment. But I do think you'll feel this. To what degree? I think it'll be subtle. Yeah, I think it will be subtle, but I do think you will find yourself looking at the where you've given things away, where you've given that power away, where you've had power and where you've given it away. I think you'll find yourself looking back. You might get somebody from the past coming in. You might have situations from the past resurfacing, these sort of things. But I do think it will be subtle. Then on the 5th of May, we've got Mercury in Aries, sextiling Jupiter in Gemini. I like that. Yeah. Mercury in Aries, that's your 3rd house. That's communications. That's been in communications with your local community, communication and learning the surface level things, looking for answers. Maybe there's something going on with family, like your siblings, maybe even your extended family that you're maybe wanting to, you're learning some information that you maybe want to go bolder at, or maybe you've got that new spark, something that you can do with your siblings and your extended family. And then Jupiter is in Gemini. This is in your 5th house. It's creative. It's your passions. It's the things that light you up. Romance. Sex even. Yeah? Is there maybe somebody in the local community that you're wanting to deepen that relationship with? Yeah? Or you want to take that relationship to a more romantic level. Could be something like that. But it's a sextile. So it's whether you make that communication or whether you learn that information that leads to your 5th house in Gemini. Yeah? And Jupiter has been through there for the last year, and your creativity and your passions and what things have been birthed in that area. Because maybe now you're going to be learning information from the 3rd house, like I said, all them themes, if you go and travel somewhere that brings inspiration in. But whatever it is, you're learning information about something that Jupiter's been expanding throughout the last year in that area. So that's a really nice aspect. I would say is a good time to launch anything, to do anything, to start something new. Talking about your passion and talking about your creativity around this time is a good thing to be doing. Okay, so then on the 2nd of May, we've got Venus in Aries sextile Pluto. Pluto in Aquarius. Again, this is lovely. This is the things you desire, going after the things you desire for you. Yeah? And you're getting it from looking back. Yeah? These desires are things that you've maybe had for a while because you've been looking back over the last few months. There was that spark back then and you're like, oh yeah, I remember now. This is going to give me my power. And I like this. I want to go for this. And then Mercury on the 10th of May is going to move into Taurus. I like that. That's a nice one. I like Mercury in Taurus. That's sensual, stability, long-lasting. And Taurus for you, if I can see past Malik, is in your 4th house. Yeah? The 4th house of home and family. Yeah, that's communication with that. Now, the family, the things you get your security from, your private life, comfort there. You're going to be learning something that can bring comfort, can bring stability. I like that. But again, there's a lot to the Mercury story. If there's been things in this area, I think Mercury is going to be tying it together. And I think you've had a lot of stuff. Maybe you've been looking back at self-worth, the things that where you get your value from and that. And I think things are starting to come together now. Yeah. Then we have the full moon in Scorpio. The full moon in Scorpio is, that's going to be the challenging one for a lot of us. The full moon in Scorpio is in your 10th house. So this is your career, your public recognition. And that's, you're going to get a light shone there, yeah? From your fourth house, your family, your inner security, your private life, the family dynamics are all shining a light onto your career and public recognition. Is this maybe where what have you been doing in that area where you've maybe been trying to control the outcome or trying to manipulate things or holding on to things for longer than you need to, the Aquarius? But the Scorpio area of your life is getting highlighted, and that's your 10th house. That's the public recognition. There's what secrets there that you're not seeing. Things are coming to light with the full moon. And this is something that comes from home. Yeah, your home, your family. Okay? Also during this full moon, there's a big story to this. So I'm going to create a separate video on the full moon on Scorpio. But Mercury in Taurus is then going to square Pluto. There's only 2 squares this month, and 2 of them are Mercury squares. Mercury in Taurus, that's your home and family. Pluto is yourself. Just watch out for family dynamics here. Watch out for power struggles at home. That's what I would be saying to you around this time, around the full moon. Yeah? Power dynamics, control dynamics, these sort of things. Because there's a little bit of tension, communication between home and family, and the family dynamics. It could be challenging your inner security. Yeah? So just watch out for that around this time of the full moon. But then on the 17th of May, things get interesting because there's a light. Something comes to light that brings change. Sudden change, quick change, surprises, shocks, unpredictability, maybe even chaos. With a Uranus, it's expect the unexpected. Yeah? Do I think it's going to be something that you're going to wake up on the 17th and it's all going to crumble? No. You're going to start to feel this during the full moon. The things that are coming to light could then be like leading you to get to that breakthrough moment. But then also Mercury is then going to square Mars and Leo on the 17th of May, which Leo is Malik. You're not making this easy. Aquarius need the answers. Leo is in your 7th house. This is your one-to-one relationships. There's a communication or something between your one-to-one relationships now. That's not great. There's tension there. Could be learning something. And this is all around the full moon. So the things that have been highlighted here is your 10th house, your career and public recognition. Your 4th house of home and family. Yeah? And then your 7th house of one-to-one relationships. There's going to be a breakthrough in these areas. Now, these are all 4 of your angles. You're going to feel this, Aquarius, yeah? You're going to feel this. Mars and Leo, just watch out for any egos at play, any pride in your one-to-one relationships. I would lead with love here. In this situation, lead with love, lead with heart, be generous. Sorry about that, Aquarius. The battery died in the camera, so I was basically just saying there, I kind of lost my track. I seen it going off quickly. This is why this is here, so I can see what's going on in the camera. Because the amount of times I filmed a video and it's died halfway through and I've had no idea where I was. So it died there, but I've got a new battery in it. And I'm sure I was talking about the Mercury square Mars. But the last thing I remember saying before I noticed was that Mars and Leo, just watch out for any egos at play. Watch out for people trying to be the main character in your one-to-one relationships. And even though there's a family tie-in here, there's a career tie-in here, it could be a one-to-one relationship at career. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a one-to-one relationship with the family or a one-to-one relationship, like your relationship, your love relationship. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could be any one-to-one relationship, but there could be some communication and some tension. So just watch out for egos in that. Lead with love if you can. This is very helpful, Malik. Thank you very much. Can I have this, please? Please. Thank you. Now, you can sit there. I just need to be able to see this. Then the sun is going to sextile Saturn in Pisces on the 20th of May. So then we're now looking back at that second house. The abundance, the material security, material stability, material possessions. Third time lucky. Material possessions. And all that sort of stuff. You're looking back there. Yeah? The sun is making you see there. This is where you've been looking throughout that whole 3 years when Saturn was there. It's saying, look at what we've done in this area. I'm starting to think, is there something here, like, about self-worth that's at play here? And you're maybe just not taking on what people are saying to you. That's about making. It's about going bigger. I don't know. I felt guided to say that there. But yeah, the sun's going to be showing you where you've been working on over the last 2 years with Saturn. The boundaries, the responsibility, the things that you've done around the areas of your finances and self-worth and your material possessions. Then the sun is going to move into Gemini. This is lighting up that house of passion, creativity, romance, dating, sex. Kids come into play here as well. Now, the sun is just going in here. It goes in here every year. So when it goes in there, it's communication. Gemini is a communicator. Gemini can be a little bit scattered though, so just watch for maybe getting overwhelmed at times, especially when it comes to communication. So then on the 22nd of May, Venus is then going to trine Mars. So is this situation, is this it coming together now? Like, whatever has been going on over the last 6 months, we're now starting to tie it all together between your third house, your second house, your third house. We're starting to see the things that we really desire. Has there maybe been something around self-worth here that you need to take a leading role in your relationships when people are asking you to do so? Yeah? And now you're feeling more driven to do that, to be the leading character in your relationships, your one-to-one relationships, Aquarius. But I love that aspect of Venus and Mars. This is a good day to be sociable. There's a few wee things with the sun sextiling Neptune. Sun's going to trine Pluto. But the thing I'm wanting to focus on just now is Mercury. Malik, it's not a time for playing. Mercury is going to co-join Uranus. There's something here, Aquarius. Malik doesn't show up for no reason, and he's trying to distract me. Okay, Mercury's going to co-join Uranus. That's communication that leads to change. Yeah? That's communication that leads to sudden change. Right. Okay, Malik is now at bay. I can concentrate. So we then have on, where was us? The 24th of May, the Mercury is going to co-join Uranus. Yeah? Mercury co-joining Uranus is communication that leads to sudden change. Learning some new information that leads to sudden change. Getting the information that leads to a breakthrough. It's that sort of an energy. Yeah? Also on this day, because when Saturn moves into Aries. Yeah? Saturn is moving from Pisces, your second house, into your third house, which is that local community, that early education, that your communication and learning and all that stuff. Yeah? Saturn's moving in there to bring boundaries, to bring structure, to bring discipline, to bring responsibility, reality checks in that area. Again, siblings come in there as well, extended family. And that's going to play out for the next 3 years. But I'm going to do a video on Saturn and Aries and on the full moon. So I might just be scraping the surface here, but we will go deeper into this. Then Mercury is going to move into Gemini and sextile Saturn and Aries. So that's on the 25th. Sextile in Saturn and Aries, the first thing to Saturn. And it's a nice aspect. I think this is you learning information that Saturn wants you to get for this new area of your life, this new story in your life. Yeah? And it's going to come from that breakthrough, the communication breakthrough. information breakthrough, yeah, with Uranus. Then in the 22nd, Mercury will sextile Neptune. This is, just watched it. It's just telling you communication's a little bit foggy. You've not got all the information. Things aren't clear. And that's okay because it's coming. It's coming. Also in the 22nd, about the new moon in Gemini. Again, look at the themes of this house. The third house, the fifth house, romance, creativity, passion, and the things we desire, the things we like to do, our self-expression, that sort of a thing. What intentions do you want in that area over the next 6 months? 27th, Mercury will then trine Pluto. Again, you're learning communication, about information, about that story with Pluto. Remember what we were saying at the start, where it's in your first house, your identity, your personality, all that stuff. You're starting to learn information and get clarity on what you want to do in that area in your life. Then on the 29th, the Sun will then co-join Mercury. That's where it's, I think this is, the Sun is now on top of Mercury, like, this is what you need to see. This is the information you need. This is the clarity you need. And like I said at the start of this video, this is all about preparing for June. June in my eyes is a very, very lucky month. Yeah? June in my eyes, like, you're going to get your 6th house activated with Jupiter. Venus is going into your 4th house. There's a lot of nice things happening in June. So anyway, Aquarius, let's get into the tarot portion. We've got a rough idea of what's going on. We know that the start of the month, there could be a wee few challenges, but as we come down through the month, things are looking good. Yeah, things are starting to smooth out. There's clarity coming. What does Aquarius need to know for the month of May? We're going to go through week by week. Here, we're going to go into all the different things. 3 cards for each week. Let's see what's your highest advice around this time, Aquarius. Week 1. There's something that you're choosing not to see, Aquarius. You're too busy focusing on something and you're ignoring something else. But the thing that you're ignoring is the thing that could make the change. It can make the difference here. Yeah? You know it's there. You know it's there. And it's bringing you that gift, but you don't want to acknowledge it. You would rather focus on the other 3 cups. Yeah, and this is something emotional. Something that lights you up. You're too busy focusing on these things. And this is what I was saying about Venus and Aries co-joining Neptune. Neptune wants you to be bold and wants you to be, she can sometimes be a little bit deceiving, clouded the waters and make you think, well, I don't want to go for that because that's a bit scary. We'll just stay with what we know we can get. That's staying with what we know we can get. There's something here that you know what it is. That is where you should put your focus. Yeah? And if it's unclear, it's definitely going to get clear because you've got the moon. Things come into light. Secrets. Hidden truths. Yeah? Your internal security even. Something here that's like the things that you desire. You need that. I think there's maybe some stuff that you need to come to light to be able to move forward. And this is on you're 2 weeks out from the full moon at this point, but around that time, where the clarity will get stronger as we go through this month. Yeah? It doesn't mean that you're going to go through this first week and get a massive breakthrough. I don't think that's the case. But I think you'll start to see bits of the picture coming together. Then you've got the 7 of Cups. Whatever this emotional thing that you've got going on just now, Aquarius, you've got the 7 Cups thing, which is more emotional confusion, illusion, maybe a little bit of delusion, coming in as well. You really need clarity. You really do need clarity. I think that is coming. But the thing with this card is maybe there's a lot of choices to be made. You've got a lot of choices and you're not sure on which ones are the right ones. You're maybe starting to see some things. You're maybe whittling it down. that you're still focusing on the old rather than thinking about this, yeah? But it could be a little bit confusing in the first week. Things are unclear, Aquarius. Then in the second week, you're starting to refine your skills. You're starting to do a little bit of hard work and dedication and refining your skills and mastering your craft. There's a plan coming into play as well. You're starting to see different opportunities now, I think. And now you're coming to the end of your cycle. This cycle, whatever's been at play here. The Death cards come up a few times in these readings this month. The Eight of Pentacles is all about mastering that craft, doing the dedication, determination, and mastering your skills, refining your skills. Yeah? There was something. The second house with Saturn being there. That's what he would have been doing, mastering your craft, your physical skills and all that stuff that lead to your day-to-day finances, your material wealth, your values, your self-worth. Really strengthening that. And you've got opportunities, yeah? You're starting to create a plan. You're starting to think, I need a plan in place at least. That's starting to come around the second week. And then it's the end. The death happens, something's coming to an end. But just remember, with the death, there's always the sun comes up, the sun will rise again. Yeah? What is the thing that's coming to the end? That, I think, is going to give you some clarity as well. And this is around the full moon. The full moons are combination points where you want to be real light. You see the things that need to be shed. Remember, that full moon's in your 10th house of career and public recognition. I link that one. Okay. I think the full moon's going to bring a little bit of clarity. Oh, okay. Like, okay, right, okay. So you're coming in with the Queen of Wands. That's good. I love this. And I'm trying, for this week anyway, I would try and stay here. Yeah, this is not charging ahead, not rushing into things. She knows what she wants. She knows what she wants. Not just the surface level, but everything she wants. She knows. She knows exactly where she needs to point her wants to get the things that she wants. Yeah? She's creative, she's passionate, she's direct, she's driven to get the things she wants. Yeah? She takes the actions that she needs to take. She doesn't do anything extra because she has to receive. She's there to receive. She's the queen. She receives the information and she brings it to life. Yeah? You want to take aligned action here, not just doing everything. You need to make sure that you're stepping into that Queen of Wands. When you are stepping into that, I think you're going to have this perspective shift in whatever's been going on. Remember, in that third week, we got the Venus is going to trine Mars. That's coming from feeling enlightened. The situation's starting to shift. Things are changing. Your perspective is changing. Remember, I did say Venus rules your 9th house as well. Yeah? You're enlightened here. That's good. I like this. The thing that I'm not too comfortable about is the fact that we've got the devil coming up, because that means that there's still some things you're still feeling in, going back to your old ways. You're going back to them old temptations, the things that maybe didn't serve you. You're maybe not completely set yourself free yet from these things, where there was control, where there was possessiveness, where there was maybe even like you were trying to control the outcome in your career or something like that. You're still going back to those old ways. Yeah? Getting stuck in the busy work. And the devil's here. Yeah? Don't break them chains. Break free from them chains. And I think you're starting to see it. You are starting to see it, Aquarius. Whatever's been going on, it's coming to something that you're going to walk away from here. Yeah? There's something that you need to walk away from. And it's something emotional. Remember back at week 1? There was the 3 cups that you were focused on, but the one that was actually helping, you didn't want to hear it. You didn't want to listen to it. You were ignoring it. Yeah. But this looks like it's you've had that perspective shift. You're feeling a little bit enlightened. You're now like, okay, these 3 cups, they've not served me, but this one we're going to give it a try. So we're going to walk away from whatever this situation is. Yeah. I think this is a situation with work. Yeah, because this is your 10th house is getting illuminated around this. There may be some sort of higher education you maybe need to pursue there, or I don't know. Let's see. Remember, you're the Empress here. Yeah. She's abundant. She's love. She's the divine feminine. She's like the above the queens, but like she just sits there in her garden, enjoying the nature, the sensual pleasures. Where's Taurus for you? Taurus is in your 4th house. This is home. She loves being at home. She loves it. She's in the garden. It's very fertile energy, this. Yeah. Great for Taurus even. There's love. There's peace. There's balance. From walking away here. From whatever you chose to walk away from, Aquarius. You found peace. Whatever wasn't serving you. And again, I don't think this is a family dynamic or a love relationship. Because you've got 3 cups. That's come back to the family. Coming back home. Celebrating with friends. Joy. That's a nice way to finish this off, Aquarius. I think there's maybe a few rocky moments throughout the month. There's a few rocky moments. There might be a few endings coming. I don't get the vibe as love. Something tells me you're on a new direction here, Aquarius, with where you're going with your career. Or maybe you've been trying to control your career too much and you've done things for maybe like the quick win rather than stability. That's a thing with what maybe your family's like wants the stability and wants the comfort and wants the pleasures from the family, but because right now you're always driven into work trying to control everything there, you're not actually be able to be stable and be calm and collected and all that stuff at home. And maybe that is causing a little bit of tension. But you walk away from whatever that situation is maybe that's causing that. And I think that's the hard bit because I think you're emotionally invested in whatever this is. You're emotionally connected, which makes me feel that this could maybe be business rather than career. Because there is that emotional investment there. Or is that maybe the problem? Maybe you're getting too emotionally invested in work and career with clients. And then it's difficult. Aquarius, let me know what's going on down in the comments, but I hope you have a good month. I think there's a few rocky moments, but I would say it's ending on a high. I do think May is the preparatory month. It's getting you ready for June. So you're in a good place for June. And that's what it feels like, moving through that. It feels like there's things coming to light, you're starting to get the clarity, you're starting to get the things that you need. Maybe not so much what you want, but it's the things that you need. Then by the time you get to the end of the month, you're like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know where I need to go with this. Aquarius, have an awesome May, and I will see you in the next video. If you want to let me know what's going on, let me know in the comments. Do all the liking and subscribing if this video has helped you in any way, shape, or form. And I'll see you in the next video. Have an awesome May.